Yeah, so my
I
contention
believe
is that I know my name and I know all sorts of features of my direct experience that I cannot be wrong about
Direct experience with what?
with the world.
Wait, like, are you talking about experiential knowledge?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I say you don't know anything, I'm talking about propositional knowledge, justified true beliefs. I think you don't have any justified true beliefs. Do you have the justified true belief that your name is Sean?
Yeah, that's a
What's
proposition
the
that
justification?
I know is true.
What's the justification?
What's the justification that I know my name?
Yeah, that your name is Sean.
Yeah, I'm justified in knowing that my name is Sean, um, on the basis that um, not only direct experience,
What
but
does it mean? I don't know what that means to directly experience your name. Look, if a Cartesian demon created you 5 minutes ago and created you nameless, he could give you the false belief that your name is Sean, right? But it wouldn't really be Sean.
so that's not really a coherent hypothesis.
What's the contradiction?
If all your beliefs were false,
I didn't say
then
that. I didn't say all your beliefs are false. I said all your beliefs about the
well,
past, not like 1 + 1 = 2.
well, what does that actually mean? So you do think that, so that's a proposition. 1 + 1 = 2 is
Yeah, I think even if a
a
Cartesian demon
proposition.
created you 5 minutes ago, that you could still know that 1 + 1 = 2.
Well, that would just refute your claim that you can't know anything propositional,
I'm just
because that's a propositional claim.
Well, you couldn't know it for other reasons, but the Cartesian demon scenario would
Uh,
not be one of the reasons.
what are those reasons?
Well, it's presupposing things like the law of non-contradiction is true. So how the fuck are you going to know that without appealing to the law of non-contradiction? I don't know. That would be begging the question. But we're talking about your name, not plus 1 + 1 = 2, Sean.
That
So
wouldn't.
how do you know?
The fact that
What does
it's
it mean to directly experience your name?
circular wouldn't mean that you're unjustified in believing that 1 + 1 = 2.
Circular reasoning is always fallacious, Sean. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, be that as it may, I don't think that any instance of circular reasoning is sort of undermines justification. I think you can have justification.
That begs the question. You can be justified in believing something if it begs the question.
Yeah, why not?
I just don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, you seem to think that like any form of circularity is going to result in like is going to rule out justification, but you don't really seem
Yeah.
to have a justification for that claim.
That's just what I've learned from logic. Like, do you have some special version of logic?
That's not like an axiom
Like,
of
do you
logic.
know
It's not even a formal fallacy.
begging the question?
Yeah,
Begging the question
it's
is a
an
fallacy.
it's an informal fallacy.
So what?
So it's not doesn't violate logic like in some way that would like undermine justification.
Okay, so how do you know 1 + 1 = 2?
We just take like laws of arithmetic and we deduce that 1 + 1 = 2.
How do you know the laws of arithmetic are true?
It's axiomatic. We assume that they're true.
Oh, it's axiomatic. So, see, now Sean's been exposed because he doesn't have the justified true. He's just admitted that he doesn't have the justified true belief that 1 + 1 = 2 because axioms are unjustified by definition. How do you
Sean,
know your name is Sean?
Um,
How do you know your name is Sean?
my name is Sean. I know that because I was given that name by my parents,
How do you know your
um,
parents are real and that
and
a
that's
Cartesian
the name
demon
that I
didn't
go by.
create? How do you know a demon didn't create you 5 minutes ago with false beliefs about the past, including that you had parents?
So when you say false beliefs about the past, but that's somehow different from all my beliefs being false. Trying to figure out what you think the distinction there is.
Yeah, you could still have the true belief, although you wouldn't be justified in it because it's axiomatic, that 1 + 1 = 2. You could still have that belief and it would be true, and it has nothing to do with your past.
Well, You wouldn't be
So I
able to
think, well,
just
how about
like
we calling into this? Are you done, Sean?
now that what
Are you done?
with what?
I don't know why you want to do this to yourself.
I'm not. I don't. I mean, I'm just like refuting a ridiculous position that you hold.
What's the
That you can't.
refutation? You failed so far. That's why I'm giving you an out right now. Just stop, dude. Stop.
I mean, you look. You think you can't know anything, but that's like qualified as just. You mean you think you can't know propositional knowledge? So that's a pretty restricted. That's not even epistemic nihilism. I don't think so.
Yeah,
You
it is.
probably shouldn't be
Oh, yeah, it is.
calling yourself that. Um,
Yeah, and actually, I go even further than like other skeptics. Like I go even further than like global skeptics because I think you don't even know you exist and shit. Do you know you exist?
Destroyer, what do you have to say about that? I go
yeah,
further.
you can't. Yeah, I don't think that's really going further than. I mean, yeah,
Thanks
that's
to the
not
super
really.
fan.
How
I
do you
don't
know
think
your
that's going
parents?
much
How do you know
further
your
than
parents?
anyone else.
How do you know
What?
your parents are real?
Well, so you're asking like, how do I know the external world is real?
Yeah, how do you know your beliefs about the past are real?
Well, like I said, you couldn't really be, even if like I'm wrong about some aspect of my experience, I can't be wrong about like the content of that experience, right? So I experienced being born, even though I don't remember being born, but like, I remember uh, good chunks of my childhood. There's photographic and videographic evidence. I can make like predictions. I can go ask somebody what my name is, and they'll kind of look at me funny. But then they'll tell me what my name is, presumably. So that's sort of like
Wait, I don't. Sorry, I'm not following what you're saying. Are you claiming that you're justified in believing the beliefs about the past are true or not?
yeah, it would be irrational to like think that your beliefs about your own experiences aren't true, barring like you have some sort of like disassociative condition where you have evidence that would undermine your rational mind.
Well,
Uh,
claiming that it would be irrational isn't justifying that that's not the case. You're just claiming that it would be irrational. So how do
well,
you know
here's
you weren't, Sean? How do you know you weren't created 5 minutes ago by a Cartesian demon who gave you false beliefs about the past, such as having parents?
here's the observation.
Answer the question.
Um, right, I'm giving you the observation that you said I couldn't make before that wouldn't be consistent with the demon hypothesis. So beliefs like who my parents are, or that my parents exist, or that I exist, um, these are all like sort of now everyday knowledge claims that compared to a skeptical hypothesis like a demon created the world 5 minutes ago, that's really complicated. Like, how does the demon exist? Like, how does he have that? There's all these
I
metaphysical
don't have to give an
questions that.
account for that. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't have to give an account for that.
Well, that's why you're irrational, because you think you can just like put out these skeptical hypotheses that are completely insane, and you think that those are more rational
You're just
than like
asserting
your
that they're
everyday
insane.
knowledge
You don't even
claims.
know they're not the case. I might be
Well,
that demon,
I
Sean.
just told you. I just told
I
you
might
why.
be the fucking omnipotent demon sitting there whacking my dick off because you're deceived into believing all this shit, such as your name is Sean. Okay, and this is all
Well,
I want to do all day is deceive you. Ha ha ha. And it's just,
well.
all that exists on is me and you. And I'm deceiving you all the time and I'm gonna keep doing it. And there's nothing you can do about it. How do you know I'm lying?
So I do a
What
credibility
observation
comparison.
can you possibly make that's inconsistent with that?
So I do a credibility comparison. On one side, there's the hypothesis that you're an evil demon that's causing me to be completely deluded. On the other side, there's the hypothesis that you're just a crazy bitch that rages on the internet that doesn't know what she's talking
Yeah, so
about.
what observation is inconsistent with the me being the demon hypothesis?
That's far less credible than my everyday knowledge claims, like I know my own name.
Wait, what observation is inconsistent with it?
It's an incoherent hypothesis. It's not like
So wait, so
the,
there is no observation that's
the idea
inconsistent
that
with it.
all of my
Say it's
beliefs,
what's the
most of my
contradiction?
beliefs about the past, um,
All your beliefs about the past prior to 5 minutes ago are false because I just created you 5 minutes ago.
yeah, that's not a coherent like scenario.
What's the argument for that?
There's lots of different like ways of demonstrating this. Um,
You can't demonstrate it. Any observation you're gonna do is gonna be consistent with you being deceived by me, the demon.
Not exactly.
What observation is inconsistent with that?
Um, uh, if most of my beliefs, if most of my beliefs that I take to be true beliefs, like my everyday knowledge claims, were false, there would be no difference between, you wouldn't be able to know that any of those beliefs were false. So it would just
I
be,
don't understand. I'm not following what you're saying.
what would be the difference between like all my beliefs or most of my beliefs being false and most of my beliefs being true from like a knowledge perspective?
Say that again.
What would it look like if all my beliefs or most of my beliefs were false from a knowledge perspective than if they were
If most
true?
of your beliefs about the past were false?
If they made all the same, if they made all the same predictions, if they made all the same inferences, or they led to all the same inferences, then there would be no difference between all my beliefs being false and all my beliefs being true. And that's just not a coherent
No, that if you
idea.
like if your parents didn't actually
We
exist.
know that false beliefs lead to like inconsistencies.
Look,
And
if your parents didn't actually exist, you're saying there's no difference between your parents existing and not existing? Look, the difference between the two worlds
apparently
is
not.
look, the difference between the two worlds is if I was the demon, say I'm the demon, right? I could at any time pull you out of your delusion and show you, look, Sean, all there is in the universe is you and I. Look around you. It's just you
Right.
and I talking
Yeah,
on this virtual thing.
that's
That's the difference between the two
that's
worlds,
just
Sean. You
another
understand?
incredible hypothesis.
No, I'm just saying that's the difference between the two worlds. That's something that could occur in the one world that couldn't occur in the other. That's what the difference is.
Yeah, but the point is that that's
And
also
like your parents
consistent with
wouldn't
all the
exist, so your
beliefs being
parent
false.
wouldn't actually like be conscious, right? Because
Well,
you just have this false
it
belief
would
that they exist.
actually lead to an infinite regress, because then I would have to ask, how do I know that this scenario that I'm in now isn't also false?
Yeah, so that's not an objection to it though.
I think it is.
No, you're just saying, look at if I don't deny what you're saying, Godless, then it would lead to an infinite regress. That's the consequence of it. Therefore, it can't be the case that I don't know it. That's just you're just appealing to fallacy. The appeal to consequence. That's a fallacy.
Well, no, if appealing to a fallacy is an appeal to consequence, I don't
No, I'm
know
saying you're
why
appealing to the consequence and saying what you're saying can't be the case because look at the consequence if it is, Godless.
the
Sean, how do you know
consequence
your
of a
fucking name? How do
fallacy.
you know your name, Sean?
I know my own name. I can't be wrong about knowing my own name.
How do you know that? How do you know your name?
I just told you, because your alternative hypothesis is irrational and likely
This
incoherent.
is an assertion. What's incoherent would mean there's a contradiction. What's the contradiction?
Um,
Are you sure you
well,
don't want to stop, Sean?
I actually said it's plausibly
Couldn't
incoherent.
somebody else jump in and be like, okay, Sean, this is enough. Let's put an end to this.
Yeah, I think I've made my case.
Okay.
Sean, buddy, come on.
Hmm. Are you like poking him with a stick right now? Come on, do something.
Poking the big angry bear with a stick.
Yeah, I mean,
Sean, like
there's-
that was like worse than Pi no Pesti.
well, I'm
whenever
not hearing a counter argument. All I'm hearing is like whining and complaining.
You didn't give an argument. You just made claims. You didn't like. What's the contradiction? If it's incoherent, what's the contradiction?
I said it's like likely incoherent.
Okay, what are the two propositions that are likely contradictory to each other?
That all my beliefs are false,
But
and
if the
that
Cartesian demon scenario was
all
the
the
case, it
same,
wouldn't, sir. If the
all
Cartesian
the same,
demon, sir, I wasn't finished. If the Cartesian
same
demon
circumstances
scenario
are.
was true, that wouldn't entail that all your beliefs are false. It would just entail. I'm just saying, if it would entail that all your beliefs about the past are false, like your name is calling your parents.
oh, that oh my god.
I don't even understand what
Definitely
you just said.
entail that most of Sean's beliefs are false. I don't know why you have to just make it in regards to the past. The point is that Sean could be systematically deceived.
He said all of his beliefs. It doesn't entail that all his beliefs are false.
Well, I didn't say all. I just said it would be most of his.
Okay, that's fine.
He would be systematically deceived if those scenarios went through.
Oh yeah. So how does he know that's not the case?
Sean, I believe in you. Don't pull a Messi.
Is Arianis messaging you, telling you what to say, Sean?
No.
No, he's just sitting in here heckling me. I don't know why.
He seemed to be fucking with
He's
me
on
just
your
now.
side.
Uh,
If I could, I mean, I would, but wanted to see Sean perform on his own. Sean, buddy.
I mean, you can certainly be wrong about your own name, right? Like people get hypnotized all the time to be told that their name is like, chicken fingers or something, right? Like, it seems possible to me.
Well,
Like,
actually, I'd say that it's like highly improbable that I'm wrong about my own name.
Can you know something if it's false?
What's the question?
Can you still know something if it's false?
I don't think so.
hello.
Right, so if I'm the demon that created you nameless, and then your name's not Sean, then you don't know your name is Sean.
Yeah, I already told you that hypothesis is too irrational to be believed.
What the hell?
I moved him to the audience. Sean, maybe you should go look out your front door right now, because when you open it, all the shit that you think is going to be there won't be there. It's going to open to an empty universe of just you and I.
Well, if I make that
Horrifying.
prediction is not going to come true, and that's just another prediction that reafirms my rejection of your skepticism.
I don't
God, I
think
wish
that
I
it would, but because I could just be the demon, like deceiving, like doing double deception or something. But
Yeah, but
I do
like I
think you should
said,
open
that's
your
just
front door.
leads to an infinite regress.
Are
And
you?
it's
I think you're
implausible.
scared to open your front door. I think you're scared that what I'm saying is true. I think you're scared to open your front door.
Well, I'm on the second floor of a building, but I did peek through my curtains, and all the same stuff was there.
You're crazy.
Well, I mean, Sean, he's right.
Obama. That may be the shortest debate that I've ever sat through.
Is it over?
No, Sean, come on. Get up,
Did I
buddy. This is just the first round. We're just getting started. A lot of bleeding, but you can get through this, buddy.
Sean, kick out at 2. Come on.
Sean, I got a plan, buddy.
Kick out. Kick out.
What, did you ask me something?
He kicked out at 2.
Do you have a question?
The match continues.
You still haven't told me how you know that you
No,
were created minutes
he's
ago.
getting it. Come on, like give the guy an intermission. He's coming back.
Okay.
What's your question?
Is the intermission over?
Yep.
Just give him 10 minutes. Just give him 10 minutes.
I mean, you haven't really. I don't think you've made your case, either of you. So I don't really see how I'm the one that's on the ropes here.
What do you mean, either of you? There's only one Godless.
Well, I don't know. Like Darth is like, I don't know. He's supporting the argument on the other side, I guess.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if the
Wait,
demon
did I
got
say
you.
that? Wait,
Sean, I really made you look out your blinds. You were scared when I said that, huh?
hey Sean, buddy.
No, I didn't actually look out my blinds.
Sean, you gotta hit Godless with your finisher now.
Oh yeah, the finisher is so for any skeptical argument or skeptical possibility, like your Cartesian demon, the argument is going to go if the subject doesn't know that not skeptical possibility, then the subject doesn't know some knowledge claim about the world. The
Correct.
subject
In order to know something, you would have to know that the contrary is not the case.
No, I just take it that
Yeah. Yeah, if the external world exists, that entails that you're not a brain in the vat. So your belief about, like, say you're sitting in a chair entails that you're not a brain in a vat. It necessarily follows. It would necessarily follow. What?
What argument are you making?
I'm saying you do have to know that the contrary is not the case. You're saying you wouldn't have to know the contrary, but I'm saying the contrary, it would necessarily follow that the contrary is not the case. So your belief about, like, say, a belief about the external world would necessarily entail that you're not a brain in the vat.
Well, I wouldn't even have to necessarily believe in an external world. I have to believe in any knowledge claim that goes against the Cartesian Demon hypothesis.
Okay, so what belief do you have about the past that you know is not false because of the demon? Do you still think you know your name?
Yeah, and I know
How
that I'm not being deceived by a Cartesian demon right now.
how do you know that?
Like I told you, it's the weight of evidence is in the favor that my experiences are mostly veridical.
What evidence? What evidence are you fucking talking about? There's no observation you can make that's inconsistent with the demon thing that we wouldn't. There's no observation you can make that we wouldn't expect on the demon hypothesis.
There's
Because I'm just
no
a demon that wants to
observation.
deceive you. So all the observations you're going to make are going to be consistent with the demon deceiving you, because that's what's happening right now. What observation? You're talking about like an empirical evidence, Sean? Like some observation? What evidence is there?
I think most like, not just like, I think just like pure reason. Like it's not.
The
I
observation of
told you
reason. I don't think that means.
it's not a credible hypothesis.
Wait, so you do or you do not have an observation?
The
That's evidence that
observation
it's
that
not
I'm
false.
not being deceived by a evil demon right now.
Yeah, that's the assertion. What is the observation that's evidence for that assertion?
The assertion is the observation.
What? That's just reasserting the claim. You said you had evidence for the claim. What's the evidence?
I can make predictions about things that I'll do that will come true, or things that
Yeah, we would
people.
expect that on the evil demon hypothesis. I want you to believe that you're in a real world. So, when you try to go do things, you're gonna be able to think that you're doing them, even though they're not really there. Like if you think you're gonna go get in your car, haha, you're gonna believe that, but your car doesn't even exist, bro.
Yeah, but again,
So
that's
you
just like
getting in the car isn't evidence that the car is really there.
that's actually goes against your position, right? Because if there's no um, observation that would be inconsistent with the hypothesis, then there's no reason to believe the hypothesis. It can't be falsified.
Wait, you're saying that getting in your car is like falsification of the evil demon claim?
Look, yeah, my thing is an unfalsifiable hypothesis, right? There can't be evidence for or against it. That doesn't mean that it's not the case.
No, but it means it's probably not very plausible.
Sean,
It doesn't make any predictions. It doesn't do any
how do you know your name?
doesn't do any theoretical
So now you're just admitting that
work.
there's no possible observation you can make that would be inconsistent with it or evidence against it.
Well, I'm not sure. I can't really think of one right now, but if that were the case, then it would be like either way you lose. Because either way I falsify your hypothesis, or your hypothesis is just inert. It's like has no epistemic weight.
I don't
Sean,
think it's a problem if it's
you can't think of a way
unfalsifiable.
in which this demon would be logically impossible.
It doesn't have to be logically impossible. I mean, maybe it is though. Maybe like
No, but
some
if it
arguments
were,
that it is.
if this demon were logically impossible, something about this demon,
Yeah, Sean,
then you could say that the scenario
It seems
is
logically
also
impossible,
logical.
but I don't have like proof that
Sean,
it's logically
conceptual
impossible.
analytic
Well,
firm.
use your imagination.
What did you just say, Ariana? Are you trying to help him?
I didn't say anything. I just said conceptual analytic firm.
I don't know what that means, so I didn't know if
You
that
could
was
say a
like,
Cartesian demon is
Yeah.
metaphysically
So,
impossible.
Sean,
is Ariana's messaging you, Sean?
he has back channels like disabled. Come on, Godless, come on,
Sean, how do you know your name?
Sean.
Let's just ask the audience. Does anybody think Sean's shown how he knows his name?
No, let's not do that.
I
mean-
don't actually. I don't think he's demonstrated that, except to appeal to just his common sense or.
Hey, Sean.
It's a credibility
Gamer.
comparison.
Sean. Gamer app.
You're telling him to go check his messages on a gamer app?
I didn't say that.
So presumably this demon has certain attributes, right?
Sean.
I mean, this demon has a mind, obviously.
Do you know that your asshole is elastic?
This demon is also purely malicious, right?
He's checking his messages on the gamer app, isn't he?
So if this demon is purely malicious, there's nothing good that this demon can do, right?
Well, I could
Anything
also I could always just appeal to like phenomenal conservatism, right? Like, my intuition is very strong
He
that I'm not
messaged
being
you that on the
deceived.
gamer app, didn't he?
So why would
What? No, this is
I don't.
why would a
this is the
purely
easiest thing
malicious
in the
That's the
world.
same thing. That's the same
I
thing
hate.
that you
Everybody
did
I
last
hate.
night when
I
you were
hate.
telling him to pull out
I
the
hate
PC car.
Why would a
conservatives.
purely
didn't tell me
malicious
to
demon
do
allow
this.
you? Why would a purely malicious demon allow you to experience pleasure?
A what?
Sean, I believe you. Sean, I
Why would a
believe in
purely
you, man.
malevolent being like a Cartesian demon permit you pleasure?
Sean, Godless, this
So
isn't fair. I mean, come
A
on.
Cartesian demon is logically impossible.
hang on,
And
Daniel. The reason why they would let you feel pleasure or even joy is so that it's so much more impactful when they take it away from you. You have that
Well, that
comparison.
doesn't follow.
Well, if you don't ever have the option, then you don't know what you're missing. You don't see the. It's like if you've never been to another country, you have no idea what's there. In this case, if the demon just gave you
Okay,
punishment,
James, just a quick second.
wouldn't
Why
know.
would a Cartesian demon create
Deliverance.
something like chocolate ice cream and put it in your mind? It doesn't seem like a very malevolent being, right?
Sean.
He's never watched The Twilight Zone about the guy who loves to read, for example, and then he breaks his glasses and then he's stuck at the end of the world, not able to read. Like, do you think that guy would have suffered or struggled so much if he didn't know the joy of reading, or in other scenarios like that?
Sean, you could run the problem of good
Hey, Sean.
against
Yeah,
a
Ariana, if you want to be an
malevolent
asshole
being.
and get in my way, like, what? I don't know why you want to do
I
that,
love
because
you. What do you mean?
if you're messaging him on the
Not
back channel and
messaging.
trying,
I did not direct. I did not.
Sean, run the problem of good
I did
against
not.
an
okay,
Why,
well,
omnipotent
Sean?
demon.
Sean
okay,
has
because
been
I just
doing this on his
Because if this
everybody.
own.
demon
Sean
were
has been
good in any way,
improvising the whole time.
Yeah, and I think it's like clear. You admitted that like your
Wait, I have to tell
hypothesis.
Ariana something. Hang on, Sean. We can get back to our thing in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to do that, like white knight for the people, my interlocutors, then I'm just going to tell you how it's going to go down. So I'm like I have no problem saying I'm just not going to engage you now. I'm self-admittedly like an intellectual bully, so I want to only go after people that are weaker than me. So I'll just like proclaim that I'm not going to engage you or the interlocutor who's taking advice from you anymore. And then the only time I'll ever speak to you is when I wait for the right moment, when I see you make a fucking error in reasoning when you're talking to somebody, and I pounce and make you look fucking stupid. Okay, so um. Sean, did he message you on a gamer app?
No, but that's just not very threatening because like you don't really have an argument for any of your positions.
I already gave the argument.
Yeah, and I told you that your argument is that you admitted that your hypothesis doesn't make any predictions and is unfalsifiable.
Yeah, it's unfalsifiable. You can't, and you're the one claiming that you have evidence against it, but it's unfalsifiable. It's an unfalsifiable hypothesis. So how could you have evidence against it?
That's epistemic evidence. It's epistemically weightless.
I don't know what that means. Epistemic evidence.
It means it's epistemically weightless. It doesn't carry any force of consideration.
Does it follow then that it's not the case? No, it doesn't. So how do you know it's not the case?
That all I have to do is show how it's more rational to believe that my everyday knowledge claims are more likely true than any skeptical hypothesis is likely true. That's all I have to do. I don't have to show that it's logically impossible.
No, but you have to show that it's not the case, right?
Nope. I just told you why.
Yeah, in order to know your name and that your parents gave you your
Game
name,
over.
that entails that the skeptical scenario.
Game
Shut up, Sean.
over.
That entails that no, I'm responding. If you know your name and you know it because your parents gave it to you and your parents actually exist, that entails that the Cartesian demon scenario is not the case. So if you know your name and that your parents exist, you would necessarily have to also know that the Cartesian demon scenario is not the case, and you don't fucking know that.
Yep. Game over. Lights
Do you
out. You're floundering.
has he? Does anybody think he's shown how he knows that I'm not the Cartesian demon?
No.
But Altoid, I don't need to know that by her
I mean,
criteria of. I don't need to be certain that that's like
Certainty is just a
it's
level of
impossible.
confidence. That's not what we're talking about.
Well, I do know it. I mean, it's.
What's the justification?
I already told you. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just prima facie justified that my
What's that mean?
intuition is right.
Oh, but it's an intuition. An intuition. So by definition, it's unjustified.
No.
Yeah, intuitions don't like increase the probability that your belief is true or anything. It's just a fucking feeling, right?
Maybe.
You feel like your name is Sean, so therefore you know it. Get the fuck out of here.
Maybe.
You have an intuition that your name is Sean.
Maybe by some criteria of justification, as yet not extrapolated by you, but for my criteria of justification, intuition is more than sufficient for everyday knowledge claims.
I don't understand. Do you think that an intuition is a justification?
For simple knowledge claims, like I know where I am right now, and I'm not being deceived by a demon.
Yeah, why would your intuition increase the probability that the demon is not the case? Because on the demon hypothesis, we would expect you to have the intuition that the demon doesn't exist.
Phenomenal conservatism is more plausible than your absurd hypothesis.
What's the argument for that?
Your hypothesis doesn't have any predictions. It doesn't make any claims that would verify it. It's epistemically weightless.
That's not an argument that it's implausible.
It doesn't need to be false. We've been over this like 3 times. It just needs to be irrational.
What do you mean by irrational? I'm not arguing that it actually is the case. I'm just arguing that you're not justified in believing that it isn't the case.
You don't even think. See, even you don't think it's the case. You're not even arguing that it's the case.
Yeah. So what?
Obviously, it's irrational.
No, it's
You
not
don't
obviously
even argue.
irrational.
You don't even think your own position that you're arguing for is the case.
I'm not
Boom.
arguing that the demon actually
Over.
exists. I'm arguing that you don't know your name.
Well, your argument that I don't know my name relies on some hypothesis that you don't think is true.
No, it relies on you not knowing that the hypothesis is false.
Yep.
Wait, Sean, what is epistemic weight? Right, like, are there like kilograms of epistemic weight, and she has like
oh my
0
god.
kilograms?
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
I lift a lot of epistemic weights.
I didn't hear the last thing that was said, Sean.
Like,
That you said. Sean, how do you know your reasoning is reliable?
you got this.
Do you want to stop, Sean?
I mean, it's already
stop.
over. I already rendered the
Obviously, it needs
argument.
preparation for like round 3.
Give me the first premise of your argument.
Skeptical hypotheses are illogical or
What's the
implausible.
argument for that?
Premise 2, everyday knowledge claims are more plausible. Conclusion, everyday knowledge claims hold more epistemic weight than skeptical hypotheses.
It's not even a valid argument.
Valid, not valid. Weighty, not weighty.
Okay, let's talk about something else, guys. I think it's been shown he doesn't know his name.
I think it's been shown that you have no valid inference to show that I don't know simple everyday
But
knowledge
this is
claims.
a series, Godless. There has to be like a game 3, a game 4, you know? Stanley Cup Finals.
Maybe we'll do it again tomorrow. Because you know what we could do tomorrow is I don't even think Sean knows he exists.
Oh, Sean. I mean,
Look, all I'm arguing for is
let's
everyday
do it
knowledge
later
claims.
tonight.
It's not
Why
like
do we have to wait until tomorrow? Let's do it later tonight. Let's
it's
create a bigger
you can't
room.
even tell
Yeah.
the difference between everyday knowledge claims and like more advanced knowledge claims. Like the fact
Well, I
that
don't
you
know
think
what
is
you mean by that.
exactly.
Well, can you explain it?
So you're making a distinction between advanced and
I think you're probably
I
too
don't think I've ever
dumb.
even heard that term, advanced
Yeah, I've
knowledge
never
claim.
even heard that.
Well, get more advanced.
What a cornball. Why don't you just explain it if you understand it?
Is there a possible world in which Godless and I are the only inhabitants?
Yes, there is.
Hot.
And
Jordan, just.
Sorry.
and then together we create Sean and do this to him.
That sounds epic.
I mean, you're the only one that like flipped out over your inability to justify your own skepticism.
I didn't flip out. Are you fucking kidding me? Have you seen my meltdowns?
Hey,
They're way more epic than yours.